It's an early morning in our hair stylist place. This gentleman got himself a wash. Then, oh, look at that. Totally different color. It actually does change their hairstyle when they do this. I feel like they didn't have to do that. I feel like, you know, Jonas and team didn't have to make it to where these guys' hairstyles actually change, but they do. So if you watch it, I put the shelves back near the hairdressers so they didn't have to walk very far to get them. But watch, his hairstyle will change. Here it goes. There it is. Wow, that is quite the change. You got yourself a bun up there. There you go. Oh, and we gotta, of course, we gotta dry it. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, very cool stuff. Welcome back to Big Ambitions. Hope you're having a great day. This business is operating much more efficiently now. We're making 30K a day. At least we did yesterday. And everything's operating a little more efficiently. I took the automatic scheduling that the game did. And again, all this stuff is going to improve over time. It's fine. I took all the stuff that they did and I tweaked it to where it's a bit more efficient. So to do that, you kind of have to have the building open for a little while or just really know the game ahead of time. You know, you can meta it. But basically, I look at the insight screen and I go to yesterday and I say, okay, at what times do we start getting busy with this business? And you'll see that we still have a pretty good amount of business at 8 o'clock, yet I'm closing at 8. So I do want to kind of start shifting to having later hours for this place. And I'm going to start looking at getting more hairstylists that'll allow me to do that. But in the morning, we really don't need that many people working. So I've altered the schedule so that there's not everybody's working all the time, right? And that's going to make things a little bit more efficient. And I'm hoping if I can tweak this even further, maybe get a couple of extra hairstylists so I don't go over on hours, I can start opening this up even longer days. Yeah. So everything's working out there much more efficiently. Same thing with, not the cool cuts, same thing with Sunset Grill. Tweak the schedule there. I found that in the inside screen, there's this lull period. It's a restaurant, right? So you have lunch rush and then it settles. Then you have dinner rush, it settles, right? You have those kinds of things. And so you don't need to be as heavily staffed in the afternoon between those two times. So I'm looking at that. I'm going to keep monitoring it, but I've altered Ricky's schedule to be kind of annoying for Ricky. Sorry, Ricky, it's just the way it is. And he doesn't work in this little gap. And so that allows me to have less people working in the slow times and then double it up for the busier times. And I think that's going to work out pretty well. I think it's neat. And yeah, we're going to keep going from there. Also, I like Dad's Liquor Store. It's awesome. Like the logo is great, but the ads that are on town are even better. And if I see the ad again, I saw it once. It appeared actually right here, but it's not. Yeah, it's not appearing there now. These billboards and stuff, they change and stuff all the time. But it essentially says, you know, your dad's. Everything we got will get him drunk. It's basically what it says. Okay, I need to do something though to help that hairstylist a little bit. So we're gonna go back to our home station and we need to go over to the store where they sell security stuff, because I've forgotten to implement security into Cool Cuts and people can steal things, right? So you'll notice if you need security for a place, it will tell you what your security is. For a fast food restaurant, it doesn't say anything about security because you really don't need security for this. It's like people aren't going to steal hot dogs. But high-end hair care products, they might snatch those. So we need some kind of security in the hairdresser for this. So I'm going to implement cameras as well as stuff on the doors. I'm not going to get guards. We're not going to get security guards. We're just going to implement cameras and go from there. So Essentials Appliances is the store that sells all the security stuff. Let's grab a hand truck. We're going to get these door security panels here. We're going to get 2 of those. And then I'm also going to grab one of these dome security cameras. And I'll just grab a sign. And I think that'll probably be good. We're going to have to take a look. Maybe I need to spread it out a little bit more. Yeah, because I have the shelves. I have the shelves spread out. That's true. So actually, why don't we just do this? Why don't we take and swap this stuff to my other cargo here. And we're just going to expand on this a little bit because we can. Let's get a couple more domes. This will probably be good. It'll probably be good. $10,000. And this is going to, of course, help deter people from stealing the stuff that we're trying to sell. All right. So with this big old cart, we're going to take this over. It is enough stuff to drive our car over there. We can put it all in the trunk. But and the car is right there, but I still think it's technically faster for this location for me to bring this there with the train, I think, and then come back with the train. I think so. So we will see. And then today I wanted to start looking at opening up another business as well. And I was talking about law firm. Okay, law firm for Lower Manhattan sound like a really nice thing. But the problem with it right now is that the only buildings available in Lower Manhattan are huge. I mean, that gives me the ability to scale into it in the future, for sure. But it's also a lot of upfront expense and also a lot of ongoing expense for the law firm. And I'm just not certain that that's the right call for now, to just have this huge building and very few people working in it. So we're going to try to, I'm going to deviate from this, and I'm going to set up something else because lawyers are also quite expensive too. All right, let's pause this. So security signs, we want to place this at the door, just to let people know, hey, by the way, we're watching you. Then the security panels should be by the door too. So we're going to place that there. And then also this panel should go right there. Okay, now if we take a look at security, it now says average 31%. So we're getting it better. We're going to deter some theft now. But, you know, we still don't want to, like, lose all this stuff. Because up until now, people could just walk in, grab stuff, and leave. Now it's going to be a little harder to do that because there's also going to be these dome cameras. They're going to be watching all of these different counters. So I think this dome camera does not quite get everything. It kind of does, doesn't it? It kind of does. We can put a camera there. And I think probably here would be okay. I don't think we really need to have, like, you can't steal a head wash, you know? It's really just needs to cover the shelves where products are held. So I think in right here is probably all right. And if we do that, now we have perfect security. All right. So I have an extra dome camera. I can just spend that on whatever later. I can use it for something else later. That's fine. So I've got a couple of options that I've been thinking about for a business here. I got $18,000, but I have good income now, so I can starting to snowball this stuff just a little bit more. And so again, Lower Manhattan lawyer fee was a pretty decent idea. We don't need the warehouse for that kind of thing. We don't need a lot of supply, logistics. I don't need extra logistics managers, all that stuff. All I need to do is hire expensive lawyers and watch the money roll in. It is still an option, and I'm still not entirely decided against it. Is my only issue right now is if I look at Lower Manhattan, again, the only buildings available are all enormous. 75, right? 75. Right? These are all 10,000 plus square feet, and they're all quite expensive. So this one here, for example, 416 rent. I need 26,000 to start. That's not bad, honestly. It's not the 800 I thought it was. At 37, etc. Here, let's go like maybe like this. This one's 435. It has a 40 traffic score, so this is a better one. 27,000. A giant building, you know, for a law firm. And then over here, it's got a 43 traffic score. I think this one actually is the best traffic score in the whole place. Yeah. So the one right next to my apartment is actually the best location for this if I was going to do it. It's just a big old law firm. It's not a very tall building, right? It's not like we're renting this gigantic thing, which is much more intimidating. This looks a lot more serious, but the traffic score is slightly less than the other one, which is weird. But this one's 435, 27,000 to start. This one here is 453, 28,000 to start. You know? So it's a lot of money. I can't even get one right now, but I think tomorrow when it rolls over, I could get one. The other option I wanted to try and do is the bookstore idea. And I wanted to try to do the bookstore idea, but that would have to take place in a place where bookstores are going to be great to have. And right now, that is essentially the Garment District. It's a really great place for that. But the Garment District has the opposite problem. Because of all the reshuffling, right? Everybody's always closing and opening and closing. The AI has taken all of the good buildings already. The only buildings left in the entire district are 15 capacity, which isn't great. But I thought we could work this to our advantage. So let me give you an example. If I take Hell's Kitchen as a highlight here. So Hell's Kitchen is kind of the same story. Most of these buildings are not great, but you will find some of them, like this one right here is a 30. But most of them are all 15s in this. you know, 15 there, 15 there, 15 there, etc. But there is 130 left. And I thought, hey, we could grab that 130. The only 30 left in Hell's Kitchen. We could really just stick it to Jessica, right? So this is 248 and 15,000 down. I can afford it right now. But it's a 30 customer capacity. What if instead of this one building for 248, I get 3 buildings for $80? Now that gives me a 45 customer capacity, right? I mean, it's just spread out throughout 3 businesses. But if I was to buy, say, this one here or rent this one here, it's $63, 15 capacity. One right next to it, $68, 15 capacity. And so then I started thinking, you know, instead of having 130, I could have 3 15s. Maybe we have like a bookstore lane where I take these 3 buildings, which have actually pretty bad traffic scores. We wouldn't take these 3 buildings, but we would take like 3 buildings that are right next to each other. Ooh, right here. 1, that's 48 traffic score, 42 traffic score, 38. So like these 3 buildings right here, this is $38 a month, right? And then I take this one here, it's 40. And then this one here is 43. It's barely over 120 a month for this. It's actually just under 20 to 120 a month. Unless my math is terrible. Don't do math on the fly, kids. I think it's just over 120 a month, but it's not 240 something, right? So I take these 3 buildings and I turn them each into specialty bookstores because they're not big enough to have every kind of book. So I could do like a kids bookstore and then other novels and literature and you know, the limited edition books, and then I could go into getting like the technical manuals and stuff, and the mechanical stuff, like a specialty bookstore or like a, you know, you could theme them differently, but there are 3 bookstores right next to each other is the point. I don't know how well that will work because I think each of my stores will be competing with each other, and the game's code will be like, you know, what's the demand for this book? But I think as long as each store serves different books exclusively, so I don't have every single store selling youth books, I don't have every single store selling the technical manuals, right? I think as long as I separate the type of books they sell, they're not going to compete with each other in the grand scheme of things. So I kind of wanted to try that out instead of having a gigantic thing. And I also really wanted to get into the bookstore stuff and also get into another neighborhood with another rival. So this is, I think, where I'm going to go. I already have an HQ, but I'm going to need to get the people for that. So first thing I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to take, it's only $2,700 to rent this building, which is cheap. If times this by 3, it's still cheaper than the 15,000 or something for the other one, right? So if I take this one and I take this one and I take this one, whoops, this one here. If I rent all 3 of those, I have more money left than if I had rented that one. And it's only half the cost, but I get 3 buildings here. So I think I'm going to rock that out. Now, the only problem with this plan, though, right, is that now I'm going to piss Ingrid off right away, right? Because I'm going to have 3 businesses instead of 1. So that's going to, like, get her upset right away. So that's the downside of this plan. There is a downside of this plan, for sure. But let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to keep that security camera because I'm going to need to use it anyway. And I'm going to go ahead and buy, let's say 6 shelves. We'll do 2 shelves in each store. That's probably a good thing to do. And then we're going to want, I think from there, it's probably just a counter. Yeah, just a cabinet with doors is all I can really have because my cart's full. So we'll start our purchases with this. And we'll take 3 of these shelves to each of those stores. I'm trying to mix things up. I'm trying to do things interesting. And, you know, like a law firm in Lower Manhattan is definitely something that I should do. But it's not as fun. Okay, it's not as interesting as get 3 businesses, get 3 buildings, and rock and roll. All right. And it's right next to it is actually right next to the place too. So let's go back. I thought my businesses were on this street. It's the next street down. Wasn't paying attention to what street those things were on. So it is right next to this too. So supplying them is going to be very easy with the subway because the subway stop is right next to all of my buildings. So we're just going to come right here. We'll zip down there with this stuff. and we'll pop it in place just to get the shelves in. And again, I can't actually get books without working with somebody at the docks, but that's okay. We have the HQ established now, and we just need extra, extra stuff to go in with. So a very small bookstore, right? Everything's very small here. We can go get a storage shelf, and I'm just going to place one right here. Okay, and then put another one right here. So 2 storage shelves for that one, right? And come over to the next one right here, right? Oh, this is a little bit bigger. I like this. Hey, this is a much better design. Still the same traffic score, but it's got a little more space. Yeah. So whatever books are selling the best, right? I'm hoping that this store will be the one. So I have to kind of gauge that, which will be tough, but it won't be super difficult because I can change the name. So I'm thinking probably the kids' books will go in the smaller store, and then everything else will be in the bigger stores. We'll see how that goes. And this might be foolish, in which case my backup plan, if I don't need this much space for bookstores specifically, my backup plan is to turn one of these bookstores into an electronics store. I can still sell cheap electronics, and I just swap out the products, and it's good. I have to change the shelving stuff around, but if there's too much, if I'm competing with myself too much, basically is how I'm saying it. If I compete with myself too much, then one of the stores will close and transition into a different kind of store, and I'll keep the same location. So we'll see how that goes. A cabinet with doors, we'll just set this down over here somewhere. That's fine. And then the security drone, the security camera can cover pretty much the entire store. So we'll just pop that down right there. Okay. And then to continue supplying this, I just use the subway system and do the thing. But since I'm here near AJ's right now, I don't think he's closed yet. I'm near AJ's. So why don't I take this $3,000 I have and put that to work at AJ's really quick. He's just down the road. One more. There he is, closing in 3 hours. Nice. All right, at AJ's, I want to grab the bookshelves. Yes, now I think these are the shelves that I can actually sell out of. These should be. Bookshelf large. It's $780. And let's just double check this. Bookshelves. I want to make sure they're not decorative. So bookstores, they sell these things. Yeah, so I was planning on having 2 different types of books for each one. Youth novels and picture books would be in one store. And then motivational and novel could be in another. And then limited edition and technical manuals or whatever. Maybe the limited edition books go with the novels and motivational can go with technical manuals, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is I was planning on doing 2 types of books for each store. And they all go on the regular bookshelves. Okay, so the smaller bookshelf can handle 20. I do not need a large shelf. Put these back. Wow. So that's it? For real. This is all I need for one store. All right, so that's all the shelves I need for all 3 stores. That's kind of nuts. Okay, cool. I mean, that's great. I think we could probably sell other products in there too. Like I might want to put like some cheap gifts in the bookstore. That would be cool. That'd be a good idea actually. So I can't quite afford that rounded shelf just yet. I probably will need one of these, and I'll probably need a cash register or 3. But this is just enough. Look at that. I'm good. This is what we're gonna buy right here while they're open. We're going to spend basically every last dollar. Ooh, we don't want to do that because then I can't get home. I can't take the subway if I only have $1. Okay, let's not leave ourselves with only $1 because then I can't take a cab. I can't take the subway. I'm going to have to sell my kidney just to get home. And I don't want to do that. All right, so again, I'm just trying to mix things up, be a little different here. We're going to have these 3 stores all right here are all mine. So that's great. So small bookshelf, place this. This is all it is. We're gonna have books, but also we're gonna have sell gifts and stuff in here too. Yeah, right here too. There we go. That's just it. That's it. The 2 types of books we sell and counter done. That's the bookstore. Crazy. Shopping basket can be here. All right, and then we'll put this over in this store again. 2 bookshelves. There's so much room in here. I feel like. I feel like maybe I can afford to have every type of book in these stores. That's Anderson. We'll see. I might alter the plan a little bit. I already did this one. What am I doing? What am I doing? Bring this out. Did I not do... Which one did I leave? Okay, it's you. All right, so again, place this just over there somewhere. It's fine. And over there somewhere, it's fine. Wow. All right, so these, again, ready to rock, but now it's time for me to go home. And that's going to be this direction. We'll see how much money I have tomorrow. As far as how my businesses are looking for stock, how are they looking? How in stock are we? Oh, I have this huge list now. Crap. All right, Sunset Grill, you've got... You're looking okay, but the chicken kebab skewers are getting a little light. I might want to look into getting that set up too. It's Wednesday, so deliveries are far away. I might have to take... I think I'm going to have to take the chicken kebab skewers over there. If I go to the deliveries tab and I set up an order, chicken kebab skewers, we're selling quite a bit. So we're definitely going to sell out of these. So I'm going to bump this up, I think, to 800 for delivery. I mean, I should probably go 1,000 if that's actually what it is last week. Then I should go higher than that. But for now, I'll hit 1,000 on that. And I think we can go a little lighter on the hot dogs. Let's try 1,200. And then, as we introduce more products, then, people have more to choose from. So the people who would have got a hot dog, maybe they prefer the chicken. So now they're going to get the chicken instead. That kind of thing's happening. So I'm going to say 1,200 here. And then for soda cans, we're going to bump this down to 500. So just trying to clear. So that's $25,000. And we can bump this up to, let's say, 1,400. And then we can start offering other products here too. I want to expand that offering, but that's what we're going to order for now on this. So we'll go ahead and get that order in. I need $28,000 on Monday to make that happen. And then how is Cool Cuts doing? Cool Cuts has... everything's looking good on pricing. Deliveries. Whoops, that's not what I want. So we sold 77. Or we sold 700. We actually have that much. So we have a week's worth of supply left in there. That's good. Okay, I'm in Michael Scott's office supply store here. I got a whole bunch of stuff to help my HQ out. And before I leave, I'm going to just go ahead and sit down in this chair so I can get them to get deliveries later on if I want to. All right, so from here, I need to go back over. I did take the train to get here, even though it isn't that far. And I probably shouldn't have done that because it is definitely not faster to do that to this location, but I did it anyway. And then we'll go ahead and drop this stuff off. Where's the train station? I thought it was right here. It's got to be one more over then. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to drop this stuff off at the HQ, and that way I can get a logistics person. That'll be great. And then I also need the person that delivers to the people who order, purchasing agent. That's what it is. Need that too. So we're going to go here. So these desks will set me up for that. And then I need one more desk, actually. So I got one less than I should have because I want another HR agent, another HR person, because I'm about to fill up what my current HR person is capable of here. If I take a look at Char Inc., which now has its logo, there you go. I will be adding the logos and stuff, that making decisions and choosing on the logos and stuff very soon. I did receive about 4 different people submitted logos for the Sunset Grill, so that's really great. Thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to see this. So 25 out of 30 is what they've got now, and you can see they've got it. But look, a lot of people want insurance right now, and they're going to be stuck at 80 without having it, and I'm okay with that. Honestly, that's better than it used to be, because it used to be if you didn't meet this thing would just keep dropping. It just kept going down, man. So maybe I didn't need to fire that person who wanted insurance after all. Because I don't really mind if they're 80% happy with their job. I mean, how many people are really 100% happy with their job? 80% is good. I'm all right with that. I can live with that. And even though they don't have insurance, they'll live too. They will. All right, I'm going to put you back to back like this. Get the computer there, and the chair will go here. And then another desk right there with a computer there. And the multi-purpose chair being there. Okay, and then I've got some plants to make it feel as though I care. So there's that plant there, and then there's a plant over here in the corner there. Now, I really care. All right, you guys can see it. You see how much I care about your comfort, right? I mean, it's not, I get it. You don't have insurance, but you can see at least I care somewhat. All right, so we got that taken care of. I don't really need this cart, I don't think, anymore. I got security taken care of. I'm kind of like running through a checklist in my head here. The next thing to do is to call city workforce and tell them that I want a purchasing agent, and also tell them that I want a logistics manager. So purchasing agent, give me like 5 choices. Okay, give me 7 choices over the next 3 days. Okay. And then I get another campaign for a logistics manager. And I'm going to go with like 5 choices over the next 4 days. And then the last thing I want is, again, I want another HR person as well. So another HR manager. And we're going to go, I think, another 4 or 5 choices over the next 5 days is fine. That's okay. We're going to do that for now. Okay. So we'll get that sorted. I got those desks. I'm going to need one more desk. And I guess if I wanted to do headhunter as well, I would need yet another desk. And at that point, I'm pretty full on my desks at that point, right? So I do have $14,000. So I could set it up for a headhunter as well, which I suppose I've already clicked the button, so I can't really undo it. But if I am going to go headhunter now, then I suppose they could have found me those other roles. I wouldn't need to go to the recruitment agency. But we'll see. The headhunter will cost me more than these recruiters will right now. They will just flat out cost more. Because you have to... I think I'm going the wrong way. I want to look at the globe. You got to see the big old globe, then you know you're going the right way. There we go, yeah. And of course, I did it again. I took the subway instead of taking my car, because why not? Oh, did I just go? I did, under the globe. But the headhunter will cost me more, because they're going to cost me hundreds of dollars a day in their wages. And then even on days where I'm not actually looking for people, even on days where I'm not hiring anyone, they're still working. And it's pros and cons. I don't like paying people for doing nothing. So yeah, if you're doing something, great, but I don't like paying people for doing nothing. All right. So, I'm going to say, I thought Mr. Scott's had the big cart. Now I feel regret for not bringing that big cart with me, because I thought these guys would give me the big cart too, but I guess not. Darn it. Right, on another desk, another computer, another chair, and then I guess one more, which I'm going to have to do this in 2 separate purchases. And, you know, again, mistakes were made in multiple ways in the last couple of minutes. It's okay. We'll just set this outside. We'll go back and get more. Nobody will steal it, because this is New York. Nobody ever steals things off the street in New York. Not in this game. So these 2 things are done, and then I don't know what my office staff is going to require in the future, so I guess buying it now probably doesn't matter. I do wonder if the job board in my office setting will yield like headhunters that want to work for me. Now the chicken kebabs are out of stock on chicken kebabs. Yeah, it's fine. Just these 2 are okay, and then we're gonna. I guess I need to go get my car. It doesn't matter which one I bring. Not really. I might as well bring the one that has most, I guess. But it doesn't matter which one I bring with me. I'm going to come back with the car, get the other one, and then take it over there. Okay, so I made a gamble and said, you know, I probably can't... I forgot about that. Can't make it to get this chicken skewer stuff refreshed if I grab the rest of that stuff from the office. So I skipped that trip, and I'm going to come over here and put the chicken skewer stuff in here so that we can sell that stuff. I'm going to keep my business operating over here at 100% as long as I can. We got what, 9:30, so I'm probably I'm gonna make it. Yeah, I don't want to get any tickets. Put that on the shelf. There we go. We can drop that. We don't need it. Oh, not in your way though. Drop it over here. There we go. Okay, no tickets for me. And now I'll go get that office stuff and put it in the HQ, and then hopefully we get some good candidates coming in, because right now everybody's the job board. Back in the apartment, I spent the entire day. This day, it's Friday now. I spent the entire day just doing like the mental health stuff again, trying to build that up. And I made $31,500 yesterday. And so now we're going to see, what do I make today during my mental health day? $36,003. Now that's definitely going to help my mental health, I'll tell you. They say money can't buy happiness, but I think it brings it with it. I don't think you have to buy it. It just brings it right with it. All right, so 65K is what I've got now. And I might be able to get a warehouse. That's the thing. Like, once I start getting logistics managers and stuff, you kind of have to use them with the warehouse. So if I go to warehouses available, and there's a lot of them here, it doesn't really matter which one we get. But like a really big one would be kind of nice. And they've changed the layouts of all these things, so I'm not entirely sure which ones are better now, what models, which designs are better. But I like this, though. You know, there's 13,000 square feet, and it's it looks like there's 2 parking bays, unless I'm wrong on this. From the picture, it looks like it. Let's see what's inside. Yes, there is. That's the really important thing. So I like this one. It's $40,900 to start, $433 rent, and I just start piling stuff in there, which is good. Now, I have to remember I've got deliveries happening on Monday, so I got to make sure I have enough money for that. But like this one's probably the one I'm going to do, right? Buy the apartment. Like, we're just going to hang out in this area, it looks like. Yeah. Are there any additional retail business and buildings available for my smaller law firm? Wow, they're all getting gobbled up. Look at that. There's only 3 left. No, these ones are part of this too. Yeah, these ones are part of this too. Yeah. Well, I mean, law firm, not quite yet. Not quite yet. But we're good. If I can get candidates for my purchasing agent, here it is. Yeah. So good logistics manager, $61. Okay. It's not great. Really quick, let me check, because different days, right? Can I set up a deal with Bluestone today? They open in 3 hours. So this is the time. This is going to work. So here's what I got to do. We're going to... Oh, I mean, I don't have enough for the deliveries if I do this, right? I'm going to have to keep making a lot of money if I'm going to do this. But it's coming in on Monday. Everything would just be piling in on Monday. We're going to need Van Tander to give us the capital for everything. I think so. Let me just double check, make sure the demand is still there for this. Garment District demand. Yeah, youth novels, motivational books, novels, picture books, technical manuals. I mean, they're all right here. That's all the things I want. So here's the game plan then. As expensive as it is, we're just going to piss Ingrid off right away. We are going to take Bluestone Imports. We're going to set that as our destination. We're going to come over to this warehouse right here. Yep, this is the one for rent. And it's got 2 bays. We saw that. 2 different truck bays is good. We're going to take this building. That's our warehouse. And we can use it as a factory or a warehouse. We're just going to take it as a warehouse for now. And we're just going to call this... I don't know if there's a reason to name it anything clever. Warehouse 1 for now, I guess. If I'm going to have specialty products in this one, then that makes sense. You know, like this is the book warehouse, but this warehouse is far too big for me to just store books in it. So it's going to store everything we have until it's full. And then I'll work on transitioning and maybe having certain warehouses do that. But so we need to buy vehicles for deliveries and stuff. That's not a huge thing right now. I'm okay with things just being brought to here. I don't think we need a big expensive vehicle for it just yet, but it lets me set up the stuff that I need to set up. So we'll start with that. Then we're going to come over to our candidates. And I guess we'll go with the purchasing agent with 46. It's going to charge me $60 an hour. If I go for the 28% one, then the HR trains them up over time and I pay them less per hour. Because that's how that works. That's the downside. It's a small downside, but it's the downside of you going headhunter for everything is that you end up getting, you know, unless you specifically tell them to get you low quality candidates, in which case you're just overpaying for the headhunter. But if you're getting like really specialty high end candidates that are at 100% all the time, the downside is you're paying a premium for them every hour, which at a certain scale, it stops mattering. I know, but at my scale currently, it matters. It matters to me anyway. So we're going to say I'm going to take the logistics manager that's at 48. They can handle more stuff if I do this. And then we'll take the purchasing agent. I think that let's take this purchasing agent at 28. We'll train him up. Yeah, we'll train this person up. So right there. And then the logistics manager, I kind of want trained already because they're going to be able to handle more stuff, more deliveries, more locations, etc. So we'll say logistics manager. Yeah, we'll take the 61 right here. Okay, that gives me everything I need. And then the final thing would just be an HR manager, which I am going to wait for a little bit better one than the 33. And that's 60-year-old 33. I'm going to wait for a little bit better one than that. But this gives me everything. So now I need to go into my HQ. It's Saturday. They're not going to work today anyway, but it's fine. They'll still count for what they need to do. Schedule. And we're going to make sure that, let's say, Faye McCready is there, and we'll say Vincent Ritchie is there. Okay? There you go. Everybody's in their office. Everybody has a task to do. Now, what we can do... I'm going to have to wait a little bit of time to do this, actually, because... Ooh, weekly income of $50,000 for one business. Nice. We need to wait just a little bit longer because they're not open yet. So we're going to say maybe about... That ought to be good. Just like an hour. And then I can drive over there and set up this contract for it. I want to see what it's going to cost me and stuff. How does it differ from the balance we had before is what I'm most curious about. Now my car is parked over by the subway station because it was actually more convenient for me to do that. Take the subway and then the car for certain things and then the subway for certain things. But yeah, we're gonna drive over to Bluestone for this one. Okay, maybe get some gas. I'll see you over there. All right, welcome to Bluestone Imports, right here on the docks. There we go. Let's go ahead and park there and go in and talk to them. Now that we have all this staff, we can go ahead and do this. Okay, now the lower level of the purchase agent, the worse negotiations they have. So initially we're not going to have great prices, but that's okay. They're going to improve over time, and I'm all right with that. So new partnerships, we're going to go Faye McCready is going to set up a partnership with you. There you go. We now have business, and now it allows me to order things on the docks. Now jewelry cheap. Currently on back order. I don't have a jewelry store. What I have are books, and I can bring them in a lot cheaper than before. So we can start with like 200 of each. Just to kind of get this going. When does the delivery happen? Oh, wait, probably everything happens on Monday, probably. I bet everything happens on the same day. And I don't think I can... Hang on. Before I do this, can I do Van Tander today? Can I talk to Van Tander today? Where's Van Tander? Van Tander's here. And I can talk to them until 2 o'clock. Thankfully, I can also talk to them on Sunday, though. So, okay. That's fine, as long as I can talk to them before this delivery, because I'm gonna need a bigger loan. So let's go 300 for each, since I know I'm gonna get the loan. Let's go 300 each there, 300 there, 300 on the novel. Let's just do 300 for pretty much all of them. I'm not sure which ones will sell the best yet, so we'll just do that. Okay, and then you know what? We'll get some cheap gifts too. Let's bring 400, 600 of the cheap gifts in as well. Okay, so that's gonna be $42,000. Now I'm thinking I want more books because it's once a week, right? We're bringing it in once a week. I don't know how much we're going to sell, so we'll start with this. After I sell this, then I'll be in better shape. Do I want to have umbrellas for sale as well? I think so. I think we're going to have 300 umbrellas as well. We can bring the soda cans in. That would allow me to also supply these soda cans to my other stores using the logistics agent, which I like that as well. So why don't we bring in 1,000 soda cans? And I think that's probably it. Maybe we'll bring in like 4,000 paper bags. Something like that too would be all right. All right, now we can do smart delivery. With a smart delivery option turned on, the agent will ensure that the entered amount is the total available in the warehouse. If the target amount is already reached, no additional products will be delivered. I like that. That's kind of nice. We can do that. So this is the delivery target for everything. So like once we do the order, then they can just continue to repeat the order. And we can do smart deliveries and stuff from there, which I kind of like. So why don't we try that? We'll start setting this up a little smarter. And we'll say this is good for now. And we want to assign this to warehouse 1. So all of these are going to warehouse 1, 1. This one's 1. There we go. 1 and 1. Just like that. Okay, now obviously we need a lot more money for this one. $59,000 is for this delivery here. But I think we'll be in all right shape as we go. So $59,000 is needed for that. So we're going to need over 100 grand in our account, like well over 100 grand in our account on Monday in order to facilitate all of these deliveries, right? That's got to happen. In addition to that, we also need shelves in our warehouse, which I'm going to go do that right now. So the shelves, that is AJ's. Yes, and AJ's is not open tomorrow, so I have to go there now. It's this way. AJ's is here. So let's just set that as the destination just so I don't have to think about it. You guys do that when you're driving in your car? Anybody who has like built-in GPS and stuff, right? Do you guys just set destination? I find that like when you have a smart car or a smarter car, you tend to leverage it. And you have smart devices, right? You tend to leverage those smart devices so that you don't have to do it. Does that make sense? And like, I know where I'm going. Like when I take my daughter to daycare, for example, I take my daughter to daycare every day, Monday through Friday anyway, so that I can have time to make videos for you fine people, right? And when I do that, I know where to go. Like I know which roads to take, but I turn the GPS on for it anyway. I tap the button and the directions happen anyway. I think a lot of that has to do, for me anyways, because if there's a road closures up ahead, I won't know about it, but the GPS will. And so it'll be able to reroute me around those problems. So that's like the main reason I do it. But the other reason, you know, and besides the whole like car driving itself thing, because you can't really have that happen well anyway, unless you give it a destination. But aside from that, it's really like, it's very convenient to be able to just know that we're taking the right turn instead of being like, is it this one or is it the next one? I don't know. That just kind of happens for me. All right, I'm going to spend all 20 grand on these shelves because we're going to need them anyway. And we're going to have basically the entire delivery funded by Vintander. Because we're going to need that. I mean, not the whole delivery. I mean, we are going to make like 30 grand or something, you know, tomorrow. At least I hope anyway, without hair care products. So I have 8 shelves. So it can be like 2 or 3 are out of stock, and that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. So now let's enter the vehicle. I'm not going to make it to Vintander in time today. So we're going to have to go to Vintander tomorrow. But good news is we'll know exactly how much we need from Vintander because we'll already have the money in. And then I can also kind of mental math it and say, well, we're also going to make this much on Monday morning too coming in. So we have 2 big payments coming. We won't need the entire thing funded by Vintander, but we are going to leverage another bank basically to make this happen. We're going to get more debt to make this happen. And they needed all those shelves. I will do this with you, right? I try to have a habit or a pattern so far. I hope you guys can appreciate the pattern anyway for now. Like every time I do something for the first time, I take you with me. I'm not cutting around it, right? And then if I'm doing repeat tasks, I kind of tend to cut around it, right? We did enough driving around the city for the initial deliveries, right? So I don't need to necessarily show you the city as I drive around anymore. Which one is mine? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so this is my warehouse right over here. Rented by me. I can pull right in. It's mine. Right, I can pull in and I'm going to park right there. And then let's go ahead and get pallet shelves positioned. So these old pallet shelves, I'm going to slam it all the way against the back wall. And it could go right about there. It's probably fine. And we'll do the same thing over and over again to have all these shelves in here. Now, a lot of people like to put their shelves this close together. And I don't typically like to do that unless there's space on the other side, which in this case, there's space there. I consider that to be space, but it's not enough space for a vehicle, but I consider that to be enough space. So what I do, and this is, you don't have to do it this way. You can slam these things as full as you want, but from a role play perspective on things, I like to have some space between my shelves because you would want your personnel to be able to get in there. All right, to be able to get stuff off the shelf. That makes sense for me. So I'm going to give them a little room. It's not enough for a forklift or anything to get in there, but the forklift is gone now. We don't have that anymore. So I don't have to make room for a forklift anymore. I also placed that incorrectly, so I'm going to have to adjust that one. So we'll make that adjustment here too. I have to get close enough to do it, so I guess we'll just do this really quick. And go like that. And then the last one will be placed right next to that. There we go. All right, so that gives me room around them. And then we'll come over. I gotta get close enough to do it. There we go. Like that. So there's our shelves. Those will probably get full with this delivery that we're gonna have. And then we need to give a truck here, which is another thing I'm gonna fund with Ventander. I'm gonna get them doing that too. And I need another purchasing agent if I wanna have another contract. Best contract to get at the moment would be whoever sells all the fast food stuff. I think that's not Jet Cargo, but the one right next to Jet Cargo. Who is that? That's not, this is Jet Cargo. I think it's this one. Seaside. That doesn't sound right. That's the frozen vegetables, but it's not the fast food stuff. Maybe it is Jet Cargo. I thought Jet Cargo was the clothes. No, I'm just wrong. Okay, so this is who I want, Jet Cargo Imports. So another purchasing agent, and then we get Jet Cargo Imports, and then they start bringing in all that stuff. And then we stop buying from the wholesalers and we start importing it ourselves and paying even lower prices for bulk orders. And we just scale things up from there. That's how you play the game, man. It's great.